Good afternoon, YouTube. Man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of WWE Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we just had the last UFC event for this year. It was UFC 283. It was in Brazil, and as the main card of it was Jamal Hill versus Glover Texator for the vacated men's 105 title, light heavyweight. The last guy who held it, the one that Glover lost to, he vacated because of an injury or something like that. But anyway, on this fight, there was a couple of women's fight, but one fight I want to talk about these two women who at one point were both flyweight contenders. And this is Jessica Andrade versus Lunch Lady Lauren Murphy. I know they call her Lucky, but I call her Lunch Lady. And these two ladies, they had a pretty good career. I mean, for a good while. As you know, Jessica's one of the few women who has fought in at least three different weight classes. She started in 135, 115, where she was champion for a minute, and then she went to 125. And Lauren, she started at 135, and she went to 125 when they had the Tough Series. But these two women were on a collision course. They were supposed to have fought, I think, a while back. I think originally Andrade was fought Manon Ferriot, but because of an injury or something like that, she had to drop out of that fight. And, it's been a while since we saw Jessica fight. She fought against Valentina, was about in 2021. And she was just drugged. She was drugged. I mean, I saw that fight. She was just drugged. And Lauren was just beaten and battered. I mean, and just, it was a bad night. 2021 was a bad year for both of them. But, Jessica bounced back. Last year, she had a knockout over Sylvia Calvillo, and she submitted Amanda Lemos. And she submitted the year, because when she fought Valentina was back in May of 2021, and she fought Amanda, it was May of 2020, actually April of 2021 when she fought Valentina, and it was April of 2022 when she fought Amanda a year ago. It was just 24th, 2023, just a day apart, but a year ago from when she fought Valentina. And then Lauren, she had a fight against Misha Cupcake Hate Tate. Misha decided to go down to 125. And, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Lauren Murphy, but I do respect the fact that she did beat Cupcake Hate Tate. She brutalized her. I know it felt good after that loss against Valentina. But these two women, as former, flyweight contenders, it was just eventually was going to happen. They're both are tough ladies, but I felt like the superior fighter was going to be Jessica Andrade. And, Lauren Murphy, her name Lucky is not too lucky. She was confident. And I'm saying you want to be confident when going to this fight. And, for this fight, someone told me that Jessica Andrade, her grandmother was a head coach. I'm wondering, there was big concerns like, your grandma's your head coach? I mean, what's going on? I mean, you can't hire anybody else. So is it cheaper? I mean, sometimes there's two things you never should mix is family and business. And, they don't come together real well. But anyway, Jessica Andrade was ready because, it's been since, I think, the tail end of 2022 before she had a fight. And it was the middle of last summer for, Lauren Murphy. So these women went toe to toe. It's in the middle of the octagon, and Jessica was just putting on a clinic. I mean, Lauren didn't have no defense. Her hands, even her hands were up, she still, went past her hands. I mean, she just battered and brutalized her for pretty much. The first round, I think Lauren was doing pretty good, showing for herself. But the fact was, Jessica she was just determined. I mean, and Jessica's a tough customer. Look at this, what's right here. Look at that. Ouch. Her whole face looked like it's crushed. But, Lauren was still a game opponent. But she was struggling. She was really struggling. And I don't know why would anybody let her keep fighting. Where she was, a couple of times she had some points where she Jessica threw more punches, and Jessica didn't have, and Lauren didn't have any defense against it. She was just, look at her face. Her whole face looked like it was just getting mashed and just bleeding from the nose. She just busted up. She did, like I said, one thing she did put up a good defense. I won't say a good defense, a decent defense, the best she could in the situation. But look at her. I mean, God, her face. She looks like a Cro-Magnon woman. I mean, I think she's just swole. I mean, next to when Joanna Bojangles got beaten up, I mean, it was just a bad beating. Probably worse than the one she got from Valentina. And now, she bounced back from that loss, that three straight wins since that loss against Valentina. Two of them in 125, with both beating both Valentina. I'm sorry, beating both Cynthia Calvillo and Lauren Murphy, and her last win in 115 against Amanda Lemos, where she submitted Amanda Lemos with a standing choke, which she rarely ever do. She usually, like most of us, but like I said, Jessica's getting a little smarter. Jessica's 31 years old compared to, Lauren, who's 39. I mean, come on. I know it's only barely 8 to 9 years apart, but that is a difference sometimes. Age does make a difference. And the thing is, the big question is, why the referee didn't stop anything? Now, I saw in some pictures there was guys, Herb Dean, Mark Gardner were there. If that was one of those guys, they would have stopped that fight because they would want to see the safety of the fighter. This guy, I think he's one of the local referees in Brazil. And Lauren Murphy, her corner has to be the worst corner in the world. You see your fighter, because one of her corner men is her husband right here. This tall dude right here, that's her husband, and that's what that's the thing is, again, family and business does not mix. And this is, you remember man Tony from Rocky 3. Throw the towel, throw the damn towel. And that's what she should have did. And the problem is they're too afraid to do that in MMA. I grew up watching boxing most of my good part of my life before I got into MMA. And I remember I've seen fights where fighters were told, hey, they wanted to quit. They wanted to be done. And like with the situation, this might be a situation, a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago, this situation in Brazil also, when Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington. In front of these two was friends, hang out cool, their wives were cool, whatever else there, and she said to her own corner, I want to, she said, so I said, I want to give up. I'm done. I'm done. But they still put a woman in there, and she got beaten. And the good thing the referee did stop this time. But she was just look at that. I mean, she was getting massacred. And the thing is, your corner supposed to protect you, especially if you're a fighter who's prideful. And one thing what hurt Lauren Murphy is the curse of Valentina. She mentioned how Valentina, might eventually lose. Yeah, some people lose, but the fact is, Valentina, she's not going to use anytime soon. And that's the thing is, the curse of Valentina. Once you mention Valentina, you're going to lose. She should have kept Valentina in her mouth. Focus on the opponent in front of you, not opponent that you had in the past. We all know Jessica Andrade, when she says she's going back to 115. Because, she did pretty good in 115. And she wants to fight against Wally Zhang. It's been like about 4 years ago when Zhang knocked her out. In the first round. And like I said again, Jessica Andrade rarely ever took a beating. She took a beating against, I think, Mara Renault when they were back in 135. I would say that Joanna Jacek gave a good beating, but she's just a better fighter and had better, skill set compared to Jessica Andrade. And then I think the beating she took against Valentina was probably one of the bad ones she ever had during her career. And now she wants to go back to 120, 115 and fight for the title. And the person is Wally Zhang. Nope, let's talk about maybe a third Rose fight, but what's the point of that? They have one like that. They might try to do that. But like I said, that's a fight that might happen. Or, she can come back. If that doesn't happen, she can wait for Manon to heal. Or if she don't beat, Wally for the title, she can also fight Manon Ferriat. That's the fight that was talking about. That was a fight that originally she was supposed to fight, but because of her injury or something, she had to drop out of the fight, and that's why I come Caitlin Shagan fought that fight. But here's it goes again. Like I said again, to Lauren Murphy, you're 39 years old. You've been fighting for a long time. It's time to really consider what your future is in this sport. Like I said, I've watched boxing most of my life. I've seen, and this culture in MMA is just a kind of toxic culture. I've seen fighters who should have either, quit. I know they want to keep on fighting, but your corner should protect you. When you see your fighter in a situation where they are having a difficult time, when the defense is not enough against a more superior fighter, it's your job to protect your fighter, not push him into something just to get beat up. I mean, there's a good chance that we might not see Lauren fight for the next 6 to 7 months, maybe even 8, because they do percussion protocols. And she's going to be out of commission for a good while. But she does have a job with benefits, and probably she can go back to it, working the lunch counter. Well, Lunch Lady Murphy, you need to go back to your real job. I think I think you get benefits there. I mean, you get the food you can eat. I think, Lauren, really consider your future. I don't think MMA is for you anymore. I know you want to keep fighting, but the fact is, one of my favorite fighters, Leo, who found out, Lauren Renault, she was 41 years old when she retired. She knew it was time. People like Holly Holmes still fighting when they know this it's game over for them. It's just they need to reconsider your life. I know it's harder for women because you'll get more of a stink eye. We say like I want to retire compared to a man. I think I just saw that Shogun Hua finally retired after so many years of fighting. And he's been fighting for nearly over 20 years. And most of the guys he fought against have long since retired. Maybe a few here and there are still fighting, but those guys, I don't know why. I understand that this is something that French and Nagano talk about. MMA culture, especially with UFC, it's just, they just don't really care about you. They only care about when you keep fighting and whenever you can fight. But like I said, Lauren, you got a decent job here. Go back to that. You got benefits, health care, everything like that, life insurance, stuff that you can use, especially at your age. Let fighting go on to the more young opponents who really have the energy and the stamina to keep going. I know you want to keep going, but the fact is, you have to really think about your future. You have a son. And I'm not saying anything you want to do. The son doesn't want to see his mother end up in a wheelchair or even worse. Anyway, this is man, Always Judge Page, aka the Emperor of WWE Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.